You're not trying to escape, are you?
Greet the Reaper for me.
Glory is mine.
Greet the Reaper for me.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will easy now.
Damn. And here I was hoping my upstairs visitor was just playing tricks on me. Hey, a sheep!
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully.
Fresh meat.
The depth of unamused ennui staring back at you from those ovine eyes is...
Are you referring to the ballerina? Oh, so funny.
With two shakes of her stumpy tail...
Get your dirty little paw.
Did you expect a needle?
This floor plate triggered something. Rubbish. This again.
The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps.
Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. A clever story. In trouble.
So much for a peaceful stroll.
The prisoner's eyes meet yours.
Ah, free! And I can set you free in return. You there. Come here.
I've only just woken up, and already there's a bounty on my head. No key? No problem. And I'm back where I started. Nowhere to go but up.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time in the office.
Empty.
This is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
There you are. Not too tight. In the meantime, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers. No. You're alive, and you're having a conversation.
Index fingers pressed to her lips.
My word. You do seem a bit... Oh, well, I'm sure you'll... A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. Is he? Oh, well. Some problems...
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. We'll find out who did.
She looks up at you with a...
I was on duty in your room. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Oh, Finn was killed by source. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And listen, I could use... Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks.
I know you. I heard you sing once. Hey! I know who you are. Wow! You look cool.
I've never dined on anything less than a
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
She eyes you quite...
Not the future, no. But I can read the I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. A dark... My, aren't you a pretty cup full of sugar and spice? Of course it is. But don't you worry, darling. I don't lick and tell. Don't worry, honey.
She looks you up and down with the merest...
Never say never, though.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you. You are Jill, aren't you? I ain't saying nothing. Bloody dwarves, I'll come back to you, but you better be ready to talk here.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scar...
Watch your back, new fish. There's a...
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man... He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his...
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many moons ago.
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny... No. The dead man. Finn, is it? I'd no business.
He glances over at Magister Victor.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy. I've heard a lot. Nothing. Wonder if we'll get to meet the Ringmaster himself. Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the Divine himself.
What are you conspiring about?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a...
Name.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more...
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls...
Away with you.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping...
Your Majesty, turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
A broad dwarf sits... He raises an eye...
Listen up, Geralt. You hear that?
That has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
His eyes snap open.
Murder! Ah, that I wouldn't know anything about. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it too.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
His eyes flutter shut.
Whether they catch me is another matter. But I ain't one to... The ship!
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
And?
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about...
The fellow cocks his ear.
That isn't ang...
He cocks his ear to the other.
Anticipation. She said... That's all you hear, though. There now. Just squeeze. Aha.
His eyes snap open.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Pardon my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles. Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate. Even here. Captain!
The dwarf leans back.
That'll be all. Thank ye kindly, Gero.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
You one of them? A divine order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know.
The Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Name? Well, you aren't here on my list.
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it.
You! Sorcerer! Blood?
No.
Go! Care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Well, well. What have we here?
The lizard looks you up. All of a sudden, he grips you firm.
Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one... mute. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Oh, but to field... On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the... Dear Lord, I might as well try and teach math. So, 3 questions are, as per your own testimony, you can cook and tailor, but you're still. Beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you should probably come to terms with the fact that you've half a mind, full stop. Rein in your impertinence, will you? Anyway, you may leave me for a moment.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you.
Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Bloody dwarves, I'll come back to you. But you better be ready to talk here.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mezd. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right?
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it.
Ask what you must.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Till overboiling a bit of cabbage.
I have already examined it and found it quite ordinary. Oh dear. I seem to... You have my apologies. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. Ah, yes. My name is Fane. It is pleasurable to meet you.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less...
Hardly. I've been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Most unusual, and if it's not too rude to suggest, not much of an answer. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than more appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. Magic, you faring okay so far? Of course I do. Seems Voidwalk can dog your heels like a shadow. You'll see. You head on in now.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten and then messed. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odds.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. Hands to yourself, bloody.
A young Magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
No known associates.
Alexander, grant me patience. What? Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try—
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
try. Look at the concentration on your face. All will, but no result. There you have it. See? The collar's function. It neuters you of sorts. Makes you unable to cast Source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand on your forehead and taking your pulse with the other.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a cup of mulled wine and another night's sleep. Just take it easy.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
So, anything interesting for me? Right.
Oh, the hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Keep with those bolts trained on her. And if she tries to... Never thought she'd attack here.
You seem on edge, you seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul. Murder most foul. I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
This wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Go! Move! Woof! 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 If you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God! You there, sorcerer! Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her.
By all means, do as the officer says.
She reaches for her collar.
I'm just about...
Subdue men, quickly!
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The Magister lies on the...
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in your...
The dice roll darkly.
Ifan lies motionless, curled, his eyes flip. Ifan cries out. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. You hear a faint...
Oh! What happened? Water? Wine, for goodness sake!
The lizard's eyes... The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as the dog notices you for the first time and snarls. It sneezes suddenly and...
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Please, make it stop. Oh. Too much. Too much.
The dog whines and can...
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. Damn! That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. God damn it! Need to get off this wreck and quick. What fresh hell is this? Something's pounding on the hull.
You pass through the door. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a vault.
No, no, no! It catches fire!
The skeleton looks up.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks...
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, please, I was no more I had a mask, rather a mask that was stolen. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow, I would say good...
The skeleton's... door was painted recently. Judging from its pungence, you press your palm against the door to open it. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but...
I need to get out of here, now! That means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby.
Said there were other people.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Fuck you. There's a ladder right over...
You're gonna be the death of us.
The Magister lies on the floor,
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a... Wait! Void woken!
Beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
Let the games begin.